Hello, everyone. Good evening. Hope everyone are doing great. All right. So today will be the last session, and we are good to continue for session today. Yesterday we have started the topic for Azure, and we try to discuss the introduction of Azure, the data center, and the Active Directory, right? Introduction. So we shall continue with the remaining topic for today, where we'll finish with the understanding of basics of Azure and Google Cloud Platform. Okay. All right. Any doubts on from yesterday's session, what we have discussed? I mean, last Friday. Any doubts? Okay, so let's continue with that Azure directory itself. As I told you, Azure AD is nothing but it's kind of a directory where it manages the users, the domains, and the authentications and assignment of groups. Okay, so you can see the benefit features, what it includes: a cloud-based suite for identity management capabilities that enables you to securely manage access to Azure services and resources for users. It provides application management, authentication, device management, and hybrid identity. You can see the on-premise environment, the physical architecture, and how it is trying to have a configurations with an Windows Active Directory connected to one cloud-based Azure Active Directory, how that user authentication is completely migrated to the cloud environment on the right side, right? So this is how it can be migrated. So the key features which include, as we have discussed it last time, the single sign-on SSO means authentication. Okay. And a self-service password change. Self-service password change, you people are already aware, where we try to log into the console where we can try to reset the password, and we can try to edit the changes, and we can try to have the password reset based on our requirement. Correct? So that is how we can try to able to do that. And multi-factor authentications, MFA. You people remember that we have tried to have our MFA configurations for the AWS cloud last time, correct? For we have tried to have a authentication setup by configuring the 6-digit code on the browser, and we can try to install the MFA authentications in mobiles as well, right? So that kind of an MFA, multi-factor authentication, it is kind of an additional security feature where we can try to have that implemented, correct? And also Active Directory join for Windows 10. So it is kind of one of a feature for Windows operating system software where we can try to have that AD join so that the data can be imported into that operating system that will be supported. You can see that the other directories, other user directory, it is kind of a telephone directory. We have seen the example, right? In the same way, all the user account related information will be in other directories, and it can be synced with the Windows Active Directory. All that will be connected through a simple connections, and it will be having a self-service where you can try to reset your password, and how you would like to modify the username, the domains, and everything. You can try to do that, and it can be integrated with on-premise environment with an Active Directory that can be migrated to the cloud. So all the data can be synced as well. That is one kind of a good feature that is provided. So we have seen different options where Azure Active Directory, that is with an identity. Identity is something, it is kind of a main aspect where object that can be authenticated. Okay, it will have a separate identity for the user who is created into that, and it will have an account, an identity that has a data associated with it. Whatever the data that will be associated with an identity, that is nothing but an account. Azure AD account, an identity account created through an Azure AD or another Microsoft Cloud service. So once an account is created, so if it is an identity where cloud vendor or any other vendor, that account is created and that will be stored as an identity. Okay. And we are calling Azure AD or tenant directory, a dedicated and trust instance of Azure AD. A tenant is automatically created when your organization signs up for a Microsoft Cloud Service subscription. So additional instances of Azure AD can be created. That means you will be able to create multiple instances for a single AD. Azure AD is the underlying product provided by the identity service. Identity service means who is will providing, cloud is trying to provide us, right? The term tenant means a single instance of Azure AD representing a single organization. That means a tenant is nothing but example like an ExcelR. ExcelR is nothing but a single tenant. So that tenant, ExcelR having a different users, employees, and like we people are actually in the Zoom, right? Everyone are actually authenticated to Active Directory SSO login. So we'll get a username and the password. So this authentication can be managed by the cloud vendor. That is nothing but example of Azure AD. So our tenant is nothing but an ExcelR. That kind of an example we can try to have it. Okay. The terms tenant and directory you are often used in interchangeably. Okay. So we can call that as an tenant or kind of a directory. Anything it can be replaceable based on the requirements of the project needs. So as I said, similar to AWS, Azure subscription, it is used to pay for Azure cloud services. It is kind of a pay-as-you-go service. Okay, these are kind of a different entities, what we can see that in the cloud. So compare ADS to Azure Active Directory. Azure ADDS means it's a domain service. Okay, if you try to compare this, domain service means with an Azure Active Directory, what are the differences? We'll try to understand. Okay. Azure AD is primarily an identity solution and designed for HTTP and HTTPS communications. This domain service is actually configured with the protocols naming as HTTP and HTTPS over the internet. Okay. Queries using the REST API over HTTP and HTTPS instead of LDAP. So what happens? LDAP is nothing but a local directory authentication system. Okay. HTTP, HTTPS means web-based authentication system. So that's what it is trying to tell. Queries will be passed through REST APIs, that is HTTP and HTTPS protocols, rather than directory level. It will be having a API level, that is through a online method, internet, over the internet. Use HTTP and HTTPS protocols such as SAML, federations, and OpenID Connect for authentications instead of Kerberos. So these are actually the terms where we'll be trying to see that with an authentication level. For example, if you're trying to log into a mobile, it will asking with a 6-digit or 4-digit PIN, right? In the same way, so employees or the clients in any organizations, they'll try to have an authentication setup. So those authentications actually trying to pass on through these kind of a protocols, SAML, federations, and OpenID Connect. These will be linking to your organizations. So that's what it means. Includes the federation services and many third-party services such as Facebook. So this kind of an authentication systems that will be actually useful, kind of a famous application, nothing but a Facebook as well. Okay. So where we need to log in with an authentication, right? Username and the password and the details. So that kind of an authentication system. Azure Active Directory users and groups are created in a flat structure, and there are no organizational units or group policies objects. It means this Azure AD Active Directory is kind of a global. There is no restrictions, and it will be configured based on the organizational level. Okay, and the policies can be configured accordingly. And this gives an architecture of how this is actually configured with the different services, like single sign-on and collaborations. These are kind of a features. And what are kind of a features they are trying to provide. So it is free for 500,000 objects. Objects means it can be domains, users, and the groups, everything. So they are trying to call this objects. And these are single sign-on means it's unlimited. Unlimited for all these kind of things. That means if you try to use any Microsoft applications, it is free. And the premium API, it is unlimited, single sign-on. And the premium P2 unlimited. These are kind of plans, right? So we can see these are based on the application specific. AD is trying to offer these kind of specifications where we can try to utilize. Okay. You can see for it is not free for these applications, and it is actually free for some specific. This cross mask actually doesn't require. It says the cross. Okay, it is not available. You need to purchase that. That's what it means. So premium, premium 2. Premium 1, we have only 2 options here. Premium 2, nothing. You need to purchase from this option to here. But these will be free. No object limited, unlimited. So directory objects and single sign-on are available by default. All these actually purchased based on the resource and the subscription you try to choose out of these 4. Okay. And as I told you, we will be able to create users and the groups, and we can try to assign the permissions within the Azure AD Cloud Portal. We'll try to do the lab session as well for the same. You can see all users must have an account. So this is a must which we are trying to see. To have this access, we need to have a user's account created. The account is used for authentication and authorizations. So we'll need to authentication and authorizations. We need a users to be created. Each user account has additional properties. So properties means it can be having roles and the groups and the policies that can be assigned. Like the same concept we have discussed about IAM in the AWS, right? It is similar like in the AD as well. But AD is a quite big level topic, and it is actually maintained for authentication in more than high level applications. Okay, we'll try to see directly in the lab session as well, how it looks like the console. So we can see, we can try to create new users, and also we can try to invite users by connecting to another Active Directory service, like a third-party tools. Okay, it must be a global administrator or user administrator to manage users. To create any users, I need to be an administrator. For example, in AWS, I'm trying to be a root user to create an IAM user. Like that is the same concept in here as well. User provide profile picture, job contact info is an optional. These you can try to include, like your picture details, first name and the last names, and the contact info and addresses and everything will be optional. Deleted users can be restored for 30 days. So if you try to by mistake delete any users, that can be restored within the 30 days. After 30 days, the data will be permanently removed. Sign in and audit log information is available within the console. That's what the picture states. Okay. And the groups. Once you create the user, you need to assign the permissions to particular user, right? What kind of a permissions you need? You need administrator permission, manager permission, superior permissions, dynamic users, and these kind of a different permissions you can assign based on the application requirements. You can see we have different group types, that is security groups, Microsoft 365 groups. And in the assignment types, you can see there are the membership type is assigned. If you try to change the status, it will be go to dynamic user. And we can try to have a dynamic device security groups only. So these membership types will be also changed based on the assignment we'll try to do. So these will be required. These kind of a policies and the groups will be required when an organization is trying to build up a team and they need to have the authentication set up. Okay. Let me try to log into the portal. Let's see how that Azure ID will be created. We'll see how the basic console looks like. I think yesterday we haven't logged into console, right? So you can see, I try to have a free tier account created with Azure. You can see I have just logged in. This is my account. This is how the Azure console looks like. I hope everyone you're trying to see this. And on the left side, you can see the dashboard, same like AWS. We have a database, virtual machines, load balancers, storage, Azure Active Directory. This is the one topic we have discussed. All these kind of services will be on the left side of the dashboard, correct? If I go here, my permissions, you can see I'm into subscription free trial, correct? You are administrator to the subscription for the free trial. It is similar like a AWS as well. I've got a 1 year free trial where I'm able to do that. Okay. So I can try to have a utilizations of a minimum level of services. Under the free trial, I can try to perform only minimum services. Okay. Now it is actually active. No bills currently. You can see subscription free trial has a remaining credit of 15,800 rupees. So that means if I try to use any services, if that is actually coming to this particular amount, bill amount, I'm okay till the free trial. If any further amount crossing above the 15,800, then I'll have to pay the amount. That is a price limitations for this Azure account as well. Okay, they are trying to provide in the amount specific, like a cost effective thing. But as you try to see in it, AWS, what happens? It is trying to provide you based on the service level, right? Pay as you go service. You need to launch the services. It will try to generate a monthly bill charges for us. So that is how it goes, correct? So we have tried to discuss the important topic that is nothing but Azure Active Directory. Let's see how it looks like. This is how the Active Directory account looks like. Okay. So for example, you can see users, groups, application devices. It is trying to have that, right? Upcoming MFA server depreciation. MFA is nothing but a multi-factor authentication. We can try to set up. So this is how the console looks like. You can see quick actions. You want to add a user, you want to add a group, application registration. Let me try to add a user once here. So for example, I can try to create a user. As I told you, within the account Active Directory, I can try to have user created and try to have this account used to perform some operations. For example, ExcelR group. Okay. Maybe I'm trying to create a sample user. You can try to input any domain names. You can see gmail.on, microsoft.com, something like that. For example, ExcelR. I think this is not available because I haven't. So I should have a default one because this is already default one which is available. So that's why they are trying to give us an option over here. So I just give a name, full name, the last name. Do you want to generate an auto-generated password or need creating a new password? So if I try to create a new password, let's see. Okay. Now I haven't created any groups, any roles. And usage locations, under which location you would like to have this user created. You can try to mention that. Yeah, is available. This is done. So job title, department, company name, manager, nothing actually required. But if you want to mention, you can try to have that. Okay. If I try to create this. So successfully created user ExcelR class. Let us try to see where that user is in place. Here. So you can see ExcelR class. This is kind of an user. Okay. If I try to open this, you will see name identity has been created, like kind of a Microsoft itself, the domain, some kind of a sample user is created and object ID has been created. Okay. It is for understanding and fetching that information in the backend for easy purpose. And this is an identity for me. What else is there? Quick actions. This is the one. If I want to have that information updated, any new information I want to add, I can try to do that. And you can see the identity here. Job information I haven't provided. The contact number information like address, city, province, mobile details, and all the details of your personal details, everything can be done. And parent controls, it is something kind of an adult or based on the age. Settings, location within India, I try to have this created. If you want to have any users, that has to be imported from on-premise. So you need to have that on-premise enabled so that users who are actually created under the on-premise, that can be synced here. So this is not enabled now, but if high-level projects where the data contents has to be imported to the cloud environment, we need to enable this on-premise as well. Okay. So this is about the user level. If I go back to the ExcelR user, you can see assigned roles, right? If you want to assign some kind of a permissions, we can try to assign the roles as well. For example, It is loading. No direct roles assigned. So what we can do here, add assignments. So the ExcelR class, whatever the role that has been created, what kind of a role you would like to have him assign. You can see application administrator. He can create and manage all aspects of app registrations and enterprise apps. Okay. And the DevOps administrator can manage Azure DevOps organization policy and settings. They have a different set of permissions level. Global administrator. He can manage all aspects of Azure Active Directory and Microsoft services that use your Active Directory identities. It is kind of a high level access, correct? Guest inviter can invite guest users independent of the members can invite guests. It is kind of a guest access permission. And there are several, permission levels that we can try to assign based on our requirement. User administrator can manage all aspects of users, groups, including resetting passwords and limit admins. Okay. I try to guest. So I'll try to have a directory radius, for example. I'll go to users. I'm just trying to assign this particular user under this group. Okay, for example. Group. See, this particular user has been assigned with this particular role as administrative user. Okay, so he got permissions to read basic directory information, commonly used to grant directory read, access to application and guest. You can try to add more level of roles under this particular account. Okay, if you want to create any group, you can try to have a group created. You can see there is no proper group which has been created. If you want to have that created, a new group can be created by adding a membership here. Okay, add filters, you can try to have that. This is kind of an applications which you can try to link it. Okay, if you want to have any applications that you want to link these users, you can try to have that applications linked to it. So this is kind of information we can try to do that. Overview, and you can see in the audit logs, it will try to provide the information about the activities we have tried to see. You can see in the audit logs, we have tried to see user has been created, correct? This user has been created. And next, what have been done? This user role has been assigned from here. So this is kind of a log information based on the dates and when it was created and how that user has been deleted or not. All the information will be tracked under audit logs. Okay. This is kind of a troubleshooter. It's kind of a loading. So where if you have any issues, then if you try to have that information regarding the AD sync, Active Directory sync or any issues, this diagnosing and solve options will be helpful to resolve any issues. Okay. So we can try to sync the Active Directory. It's kind of a directory where on-premise structure. We can try to import all the contacts, all the details of the domains directly sync to this particular Azure Active Directory. Okay. So this is about the Active Directory configuration. I can't delete a user from directory. I can't create a new user. So it is asking to troubleshoot to try to give us a suggestions. You can see, ensure that you authorize to create a new standard user. Only global administrator have a permissions to create a new user. That's why the normal user cannot create a user in the Azure AD. So these are kind of a various methods how it can be implemented. Okay. So if I'm done with this, then I can try to delete as well. Okay. It is telling if I got a sufficient permissions. Sure, Active Directory users. This has been deleted. So by this, you will be able to create users and give access based on the specific permissions. Right? I try to do this. You can see there is a password reset options here. And once I deleted the users, you can see I'm able to see the informations of deleted users backup over here. If I try to click on here, if I try to restore, this particular user will be restored to the user. You can see you want to backup the restored user. So this restore options will be available for 30 days. Now, if I go back to the users, the user which I've created, it should pop up here. Because I try to have a backup, right? It will be coming here. Home, Azure. The user which I've deleted, I try to have a backup. You can see my user has been coming back here. So that's how the backup option is also a very good feature which is available. And you can try to have a password reset, user setting options, and everything you can try to do. Maybe this is a administrator user, that's why I'm not able to delete. It is not available. This has been deleted. Okay. This can't be deleted because the one account which I'm trying to log in, this is a main user account, right? That's why I'm not actually able to delete my account itself. It should be there by default. But when I'm trying to delete the ExcelR user, which has been created, that will be deleted by default. You can see it has been gone. Now, if I go back to the deleted users preview, it will be coming here now. You see? Now, whenever I need to restore within the 30 days, after April 26 means next till the next month, 26, I'm able to restore that user. These two users has been removed. That's how we'll be able to manage the user level directories. Okay. So we have discussed about global infrastructure, right? So the other thing we'll be able to see here within the Azure, like the understanding of Azure, we need to concentrate on. There are different services available, like compute services, storage services, network services, and everything will be available. Now we can see, like same like AWS will have a virtual machine in Azure as well. What was that? Create a virtual machine that runs Linux or Windows machine. Select an image from the marketplace or use you can own customized image. So it is same like the concept of AWS. Like any cloud will have a same concept. Launching a machine with an operating system image, correct? Either the Windows operating system or the Linux operating system. But the only difference here is this particular cloud service is provided by Microsoft Azure, and the one we have seen the AWS that is provided by the Amazon. Correct? You can see the naming conventions also it will be different. In the AWS, it is kind of an EC2. Now here it is rightly telling as a virtual machine. Correct? In the AWS, they are trying to call it as an IAM, Identity Access Management. But in Azure, it is trying to call Azure Active Directory. Storage access, SQL database. You can see there are different databases available as well. So the naming will be different. But the backend technology, which is actually working through the data centers, the deployment of servers, and the backend architecture and everything will be same. Correct? So currently, most of the companies are trying to opt for these famous cloud vendors like Microsoft Azure, Amazon AWS Cloud Services, Google Cloud Platform. So once you are able to get through of any of the cloud computing course and the knowledge, if you had a good expertise on the knowledge on that level, on any one of the cloud environment, you will be able to have that confidence on trying to go with an interviews as well. Okay. So let us try to create a sample virtual machine, how it looks like. I just want to show you the Windows machine. Let me try to see. You can see virtual machine default directory. So when I'm trying to create a virtual machine here, it is asking Azure virtual machine. Create a virtual machine hosted by Azure. Okay. So you can see create a virtual machine hosted by Azure. Azure virtual machine with preset configuration. So it will have a preset configuration. It is nothing but a AMI. You see the AMI concept in AWS, right? Amazon machine image that you are able to have a backup of software image and the storage. That's kind of a thing. It's having a pre-configured software configurations. Okay. And we have a different options as well. Now, for example, if I try to create a machine, for example, create Azure machine. Let's see how it will be working. Create a virtual machine that runs Linux or Windows. Select an image from Azure Marketplace or use your own customized image. Complete the basic steps and review plus create a provision of virtual machine with default parameters or review each step for fully customizations. Okay. For example, it is subscription is under free trial. So if you try to use any other method, if you are chargeable, then you need to charge and you need to pay the amount. Okay. Just make sure you need to be under the free trial account. For example, I'm trying to create a new resource over here. For example, it's kind of a computer, right? Trying to create a computer. So there is a resource name already existing. Free Linux. Maybe I'm trying to create this. So what is a resource group? A resource group is a collection of resources that share the same lifecycle permissions and the policies. So this resources group will be created under free Linux. Okay, I'm trying to create that. Virtual machine name. What is a virtual name? Virtual machine in Azure has two distinct names. Virtual machine name used as Azure Resource Identifier and in the guest host name. When you create a VM in the portal, the same name is used for both the virtual machine name and the host name. The virtual machine cannot be changed after the VM is created. You can change the host name when you log into virtual machine. So we cannot change the name until the host name is created, like the VM is created. Okay, let me create that. Just 1 minute, guys. Yeah, guys, my audio got disconnected. Okay. So now am I audible to everyone, right? So I've just created a name for the virtual machine with a Linux machine, okay? And the region. You can see in the same way what we have the regions, like which data center and which location you want to have this VM deployed. For example, you want to type in Asia specific, East, South, and East specific thing, you can try to have that included over here as well. So Asia specific, if you want to have something over here, you can try to mention like kind of a central India. Okay. Now, availability options. Azure offers a range of options for managing availability and resiliency for your applications. Architect your solution to use replicated VMs in availability zones or availability steps to protect our apps and data from data center outages and maintenance issues. What is availability zone? As I told you, if there is an issue, like if we want to have a backup during the disaster recovery or the backup situations. So you want to have a backup to availability zone, then you can try to configure that availability zone. So this is kind of a zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, right? It's kind of a backup option. As we are trying to test it, we doesn't require any redundancy or the backup. So I'm trying to tell no infrastructure redundancy is required, correct? So that's what I'm trying to mention here. Security type, standard, the basic level of security for your virtual machines. If you want to have an additional security, you can try to mention later, like secure reboot, virtual trusted platforms. These are kind of an additional security level. So I'm trying to go with the free tier option with the standard one. Image, what kind of an AMI machine image? You are seeing the same concept, right, in AWS as well. AMI is nothing but an Amazon machine image, correct? In the same way, Azure is trying to provide a software image which you can try to choose. Like you can try to have a different type of a Linux server launch, Red Hat, Oracle, Debian, Windows servers, correct? So you can try to see different type of options over here, selecting which. You see? These are kind of a different set of options which are available where you can try to select under the free tier. So we have almost 255 in this page where you can try to select. So each image is nothing but a virtual software image with a pre-configured software so that you can try to launch a server, kind of a virtual server. It is same concept like how we are trying to have that implemented in Amazon AWS as well, right? You can try to relate the same concept. You can see Windows server is there. This is the old one, Microsoft Windows 10, Windows 11, Ubuntu, and CentOS, Red Hat Linux, CentOS base, CentOS, Ubuntu server, Visual Studio, Debian 11. So these are kind of a different software versions. You can see it starts with 0.953 rupees per hour. It will show you all the information about the software configuration. You can see plans plus pricing, usage information, ratings, and everything. If you have almost 255 pages, you can try to select any of the software as per your requirement. See? So people, developers or any app developers or front-end developers or administrators who want to work on any projects or any organizations, they want to have an infrastructure setup. They can try to have these software images used and they can try to deploy the services. That's how it will be there. So based on the service level, if I want to work on database level, these softwares will be there. You see, AMIs will be there. If that AMIs are actually based on storage level, these storage level AMIs, actually machine images are available. So compute level, it means if you want to have that software configured based on CPU, memory, and RAM, like a different softwares are needed, then you can try to do that. Compute based, security, analytics, database, AI, machine learnings, media, diagnostics, monitorings. You can see IoT, migrations, blockchain. There are different technologies where you can try to choose any of the machine image over there. Okay. So as we are under basic image, right? I think everything is gone. Let me try. Clicking on OK. Yeah, maybe standard. So it is telling you can see free services eligible. So I'm trying to use the free tier one so that it won't make me charges. Okay. So I'm trying to use the free services one. If I go with the architecture, that is 64, run with Amazon spot discount. It is kind of an amount which actually trying to have more kind number of hours the workload is more, then I'll get some kind of a discount from Azure cloud vendor. So it is asking for to check that if it is required. But anyway, we are not keeping much as it is for a testing purpose. I'm ignoring that. Size. What is the size you want to expect? You can see on core CPU 3.5 GB RAM, standard 2 core CPU 8 GB RAM, 4 core CPU 16 GB RAM. These are kind of a monthly charges. If I go back, select a VM size, you can see general purpose 1 core CPU 3.5 cores of RAM. I mean GB RAM, and data disk and the premium disk is supported. These are kind of a different spaces. What kind of options we have? D series, B series, DC series. So these kind of a series will be used based on latest generation D family, the 4th generations of software. Ideal for workloads that needs continuous high level CPU performance. We can try to select any B series level of specifications. F series, D series. These are kind of how these can be useful. You can see these are for vector processing workloads. These are for general purpose needs, and the 2nd generation D series will be used for general purpose needs. Premium storage requirement. You can try to select this. Okay. Insufficient quota, family versions, copy your CPUs, insufficient data to deploy these services. Okay. So based on this, we can try to select anything, anyone. I'm trying to select the first one. It is under free tier support, right? General purpose and 1 core CPU, 3.5 GB RAM is enough for me to go with the free tier option. So in the same way we try to Linux, I'm trying to either having a password for password or SSH key. Okay. So you can try to create a new key pair, or you can try to create a password. For example, if I want to create a password, username and the password, I'll try to launch. Okay. Okay. Right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it should be 7, 12 digits. It should be. That's what it's telling. That's fine. So I just try to mention this username and the password to launch this VM machine. Okay. Now public inbound bonds. So inbound means any connections that are actually receiving from our end, like outside the internet. If you want to select none, then nothing will be received and you cannot, no one will be able to access this machine. If you select any selected ports, like you remember HTTP, HTTPS, SSH, all DNS ports are available, right? In the same way. So I want to connect a Linux machine. What is the port for the Linux machine? It should be SSH, right? If you want to access any machine over the internet, it should be HTTP and HTTPS. I am connecting the SSH port here. This is fine. So I'm going with the next term as next to disk. Disk. Operating system disk type. Which kind of a disk you want to have? A premium, standard HDD. These will be chargeable. So we need to go with the low end that is available so that it is under free tier account. As for the practice purpose, I'm going with this. Key management, I'm trying to have a default settings and I'm just ignoring that. So you want to attach any disk, like a new disk. If you want, you can try to enable that. Okay. So create a new and attach a new disk. For example, I'm trying to attach Linux data disk. None. I doesn't want to have any source type with a snapshot. Okay. I'm not doing that. Size 1024 GB. Platform manage key. I'm going with enable. No, it doesn't need any sharing. Delete disk with VM. Once you delete the VM, the disk will also be deleted. That's what it is telling. Click on OK. That's fine. I got 1024 GB of drive has been created with this particular VM. Okay. I'm trying to click on next level. So I've created a CPU resources. That is a first level basics. I'm done with the disk level. I attach the hard disk to this particular machine. I'll go with the network level. Now, so by default, it will be coming into a subnet of 10.1.0.0/24. 24 network means you are aware, right? It will be giving around 255 IP addresses, right? Out of 3 to 4 IP addresses are resolved by the cloud. So I'm not creating any new network. So this is selected. Public IP. What is the public IP? Use a public IP address if you want to communicate with the virtual machine from outside the virtual network over the internet. Okay. So by default, it is trying to have a Linux text IP. It is by default, it is there. So I'm not creating anything. So security group, it is going the basic settings and the public inbound ports. Allow selected ports. Which port it is enabled? SSH port for a connection. This will allow all IP address to access your virtual machine. This is only recommended for the testing. Of course, I'm trying to do a testing to show you the lab. Use the advanced control in the networking tab to create rules to limit inbound traffic to known IP address. Delete public IP and NIC when VM is deleted. So when I'm trying to done with the testing, once I create the virtual machine, Once I delete the virtual machine, all these networks should be deleted. That's what it is trying to tell. Otherwise, these will be chargeable. So I'm trying to mention delete public IP and NIC when VM is deleted. And this accelerated monitoring is not required anyway and doesn't need any performance. I doesn't want this VM to be load balancer. So I'm just removing this. So any existing load balancer, no, I doesn't have. So I'm ignoring this. Now management. Your subscription is protected by a Microsoft Defender for a cloud basic plan. By default, it is coming with the security of a Microsoft Defender. It is kind of a security management tool. Okay. I'm not actually doing it. Now you can see, I told you about the Azure AD concept. If you try to create a virtual machine, if you try to link the Azure AD here, the users which you have created in the Azure AD, with that username and the password, you will be able to log into the machine. This is kind of an option available here. Okay, I've deleted the user, so I'm not checking this. So I'm deleting this. Enable auto shutdown. So by default, the shutdown should happen. You want to enable that, you can try to. If you want to have a backup, you can try to mention here. I don't want to do it. So this is kind of a guest OS, guest operation systems. It's kind of an orchestration. It is not required though. I'm just actually trying to ignore. So it is kind of a patching and the maintenance window option. So I'm going with the basic default settings. I click for monitoring. Now, so if any issues with the server, like a CPU memory saturation, which is into going to high level modes, then you want to alert created, you can try to create that. You can see alarms can be generated. Same the topic we have discussed in AWS, right? I don't want to do, see the percentage which is greater than 80%, you'll get an alarm. Memory bytes which is greater than less than 1 GB, you'll get an alarm. So you need to take a resource consumption, right? You need to take care of the resource management. So if you try to mention this, based on threshold values, it will try to generate an alarm to your email ID or your mobile with a notification. Then you'll try to take necessary precautions. This is kind of an alarm setup. Same concept we have tried to see in the AWS as well. If these are any issues with these particular resources, it will send an email to your email address. Or else it will try to send out email to the person who are configured as a resource manager. Or it will try to send out an email to our mobile applications. See, all these kind of different applications and options are available. It will send an alarm and the alarm will be notified through an email. If any resources are higher, if memory is full, the disk storage is full, all that kind of options. Okay. I'm not doing that, but I just want to show you. Disable. I'm just trying to mention as disable. And nothing is required. I'm clicking on advanced. Now, if you want to input any user level data, like a comments you want to input, then you can try to input. I'm not having any comments right now. I'm just ignoring that. These are kind of a host groups. If you want to create a dedicated group so that all servers will be launched under that particular group, you can try to create that. And placement groups allows you to create a Azure resource specifically closest together in the same region. It is nothing but a within the nearby proximity of the locations that your Azure will be created. So for that, you need to create a placement group. So whenever a new VM is created, you try to have that under the placement group. A proximity placement group is a logical grouping used to make sure that Azure computers are physically located close to each other. So any resources or any VM machines launched, that will be created under the required nearby data center. That's nothing but will be possible with the help of a placement. Proximity pre-placement groups are useful for workloads where low latency is a requirement. For example, there shouldn't be an issues with the network, bandwidth, and high throughput and low latency. Latency means there shouldn't be no issues. Then that situation, this placement group will be an option. Okay. I'm just clicking on tag. Tag means something like it is just to identify name, Linux, resources. So this particular name will be automatically selected for all this. Okay. Resource usage, something like that. We can try to create anything if you want. Select all, it's fine. Review and created. Now it is asking to review plus created. Required information is missing or not valid. What is missing? I think I've enabled this now. I just go with next. Review plus create. So you can see. So what are the charges for the VM machine we are trying to launch? One standard DS1 version 2 by Microsoft, that is Linux machine. It will charge 5,974 rupees per hour if you try to enable this. Okay, so we just need to make sure under the free tier we need to quickly terminate that server once you're done. Okay, let's So you can see it is asking, I'm agreeing with that conditions and go ahead with the proceed with the creation. So you can see I'm mentioning my email, preferred phone number if you want to have. You have set SSH port open to the internet. This is only recommended for the testing, not for general real-time purpose until because it is under the security reason, right? So we need to have sure the SSH port series actually enabled only file testing as well. That's what it is trying to give us a confirmation. Because it is open to internet, anyone can try to connect over the SSH port to machine. That's a secure thing. If you want to change the setting, go back to the basic stuff. That's fine. So subscription is there, resource group created, region, Canada Central, availability option, no infrastructure, security, image. I selected this machine standard. It have 1 core CPU, 3.5 GB RAM. I just selected and password. Admin 123456 is a username. SSH connection. That's fine. And all the information it is trying to review. Networking, management, monitoring, advanced. Everything is in place. So that's fine. Great. Let's see. Initializing template deployment to a resource scope Linux test. Now you can see the deployment is in progress. It is creating a virtual machine similar like to AWS Amazon, how I try to create. So resource network is fine. The virtual thing is fine. The public IP is okay. Disk has been initialized. You can see operation details. It is trying to tell that it is succeeded. It will give all the details. And this is about, what was this? This is about resource groups, networks, virtual networks has been created. So this is kind of a events during the deployment progress. Okay, it is still in the deployment progress, which is protected with the Microsoft Defender. So even this Defender security tool is developed by the Microsoft, right? So that's what it's saying. Let's wait. It's still loading. Created. Okay. Now we can see deployment created to the resource group was successful. Now I need to go to the resource. So my Linux machine is successfully launched now. Let's see what are the options. So now you can see it has been created successfully. Now I'll see there's a public IP address. As I told you, to communicate over the internet, I need a public IP. The public IP is created. So everything you can see, this is how the screen looks like in the console level. So it is quite different when compared to the AWS, the GUI, the user interface. That's how I can try to see. For example, when I'm trying to connect this machine, I'll have a connect option. You can see either SSH, you need to connect the Linux machine. RDP, you'll be able to connect for the Windows servers, right? You remember last time the Amazon classes we have, RDP is nothing but remote desktop connection. So we'll try to connect RDP with the 336 port 9 if we are launching a Windows server. So as I'm trying to launch the Linux machine, I'll try to connect SSH. Okay. So it is asking to enable the in-time access. Back. All right. So if I try to connect, just first. So I'm just trying to have a setup configuration like service is SSH port has been enabled. Protocol is running through TCP. I want to check the connection, like if that connection is actually accessible for the inbound connection. Inbound connection means from this particular IP address, my IP address, am I able to connect to the local Linux test machine inside the Azure? So I'm trying to run a test. Let's see how it goes. You can see deployment network watcher Linux to resource group Linux is successful. Let's see. It is still taking time to show up that information. Test. The connectivity. You can see run test outbound connections. If any outside access that is trying to connect with machine through SSH port, is it allowed or not? As we know that we already enabled the SSH port, it is allowed. We will try to see the inbound port as well, the connection. So I'm just trying to check for only SSH port only for the port 22. This is kind of a connection test. That's fine. I'm user rule SSH has been allowed. For example, I'll try to test with a HTTP enabled or not. Okay. So I'll go with the HTTPS. Let me try to run test. It should fail because I just blocked the access for internet access with HTTPS. I allowed only SSH, right? It should give me a denied error. In a red color status, it shouldn't be green now. You can see it's a deny message because by default I blocked the deny message for HTTPS. So that's how I can try to verify from this IP address, any IP address. If I try to test to the access to this machine, these ports are enabled or not. This way we can try to test it out. Okay. So I'll go back one step. I'll go to SSH. Now you can see there is an option called shell, like command options over here. You can see requesting to the cloud shell connected terminal. This is how the terminal for the Linux server which can be connected to. Connecting to terminal, welcome to Azure portal. So I'm trying to connect this machine. Let us try to see. It is authentication. So I'm just logging in. So let me try to log in and execute some command. I think the password which I've said, what should be? Yes. So you can see. Yeah. I'm just executing some commands. So it is by I need to have a root user. So that's what it is trying to tell. So I'm able to access the machine and I'm trying to execute the commands as well. Okay. So, okay. CD space /home. So I'm just able to execute some commands over here. In this way, I can try to have implementations of Linux machine. In the same way, you can also try to launch the Windows server as well. Okay, if you want to install some deployment of any updates or trying to install any softwares to the application, you can try to do that in such a way. So I need to have a root account with the password that is generated. I did not download the key pair. So it is kind of a process. You need to download the FEM file and try to do that as well. Okay. So once you are trying to concentrate completely on this, you'll be able to do that. Clear? So anyway, the Linux is up. So once I'm done with testing, I'll close this shell command. I'll go back to the Windows Linux machine. And then I'm done with my work. So I'll try to click on delete. You can see there's an option called delete. You can try to stop, restart the machine over here. Apply forced machine. So what all the things it will delete? Once I try to delete the virtual machine, it will try to delete disk, data disk, network related, and the public IP address. So I'm trying to delete this machine. Deleting virtual machine Linux test. So I'm just trying to delete this, shut down the machine, because if it is active for 1 hour, I'll be charged, right? So 5,000. So if 5,000 is charged for 1 hour, so my free tier account, I got around 15,000 rupees as a free tier account. So only 10,000 will be left for practicing. So that's why I'm trying to delete this machine, as we have tried to see how a virtual machine can be launched over the cloud. I've deleted this. Let me refresh if it is available. should be deleted. Okay, this is done. If I go back to the home, go back to the virtual machine, I'll click on this resource, just delete this. This is asking for the confirmation, yes. I delete this. This is also deleted. Now it doesn't have any virtual machine now because I've deleted this. So you can see all the network information, the storage and everything will be visible over here. I'll try to delete this as well. Delete this. Delete, yes. I'm deleting this virtual machine. I'm trying to delete the network related settings here. So refresh. Resource not found and resource not found. I think it is done. And I need to make sure if any storage has been created, storage accounts. I think the storage has been created just before. I'll also delete this. So the disk which I've attached, right, around 1 GB, correct? It's asking for the confirmation. Delete. Storage account name should be this. We should delete. All right. I haven't launched any database though, so it won't be available. So in Azure Active Directory, I think I've created the user that has not attached. So this is existing my parent account. So I've just run with the cleanup process. This is all about Azure Directory, how it looks like. It have a different accounts, storage related, SQL database, app related services, and the network related services, load balancers, everything will be visible here. It doesn't have many services that includes like AWS, but yes, even it provides the required services based on the project needs. Like most of the organizations are trying to prefer as well. Like Azure is also like one of the most popular service that is nothing but an Azure Active Directory. It is one of the most popular service which has been used entirely nowadays in within organizations level. All right. So that's about all about Microsoft Azure. We can try to wrap it up. So when we try to look at the billing for any charges which I had by performing these lab sessions, it will be visible over here. It will try to show me up. Currency INR, billing region, it is nothing, I have 0.0 now because I haven't used much. So current cost, nothing actually, because I haven't tried to use anything because I have a free tier account of 15,000 rupees, right? Around. So that's what it is trying to tell. It will try to show me the free tier account, free trial, active, not available, due date is not available. So once my free trial is crossed, I'll be charged with an amount which I need to make sure of. Got it? You can try to do a cost management. Invoices will be available. And you can try to set up an automatic depth of the payment amount. Everything will be there to analyze and optimize the cloud cost. That's it. Any doubts on Azure Cloud understanding? Any doubts? Any doubts of Azure Cloud? Are we able to follow everyone? Am I audible to everyone, right? So we have just understand the basic concepts of Azure as well. See, all the cloud environments just have a same backend technology, the infrastructure, but only the names will be changing in the front end, the consoles will be changing, and the visibility, the graphical user interface will be changing, and the naming convention will be different, and the pricings will be different by different cloud vendors. Okay. So let's concentrate on the Google Cloud Platform. Let us try to have an overview how it looks like. So Google Cloud Platform, it is an initiative by Google to provide cloud computing services to the customers. Okay. These services run on the same infrastructure and platform on which Google services such as Gmail, YouTube, and Drives. So there are several applications within the Google, right? So that kind of an application where the companies developed, same the Google Cloud Platform is also developed in the same way. So it has been launched in the April 7, 2008. And it is trying to provide the complete set of services and the platforms which are written in different programming languages. It offers a different number of resources with different ways to access these resources. Okay. So you can see there are famous companies who are trying to use this Google as a vendor, where you can see these are the different company vendors we can try to see, like gaming companies, software companies, marketing companies, and digital marketing. You can see Ubisoft is a gaming one. So these are different companies which are trying to use it on. And you can see there are different types of services which has been offered by the Google. That is under the compute engine and the app engine. Compute engine is nothing but a virtual machines launching and the software, say OS and images. App engine is nothing but a platform as a service where Google is trying to provide. It is one kind of a famous service that is provided by GCP. That is nothing but a Google app engine. It is nothing but a platform that is provided by the Google where developers and other softwares administrators and the front-end developers, UI developers, they will be trying to use this platform to develop any applications. Okay, we have a storage services, cloud data storage, cloud SQL, cloud storage, networking, load balancer, interconnect, and the DNS. These are kind of a networking services. Big data, kind of a BigQuery, data flow, cloud services, and the DNS. DNS is nothing but a domain name services, cloud endpoint, cloud translate predictions. So resources offered by Google can be broadly categorized into physical resources and the virtual resources. Correct? Physical resources, which includes kind of a hard disk, computers, and the virtual machines that come under the category of virtual machines, right? And these data centers are assigned to popular regions, nothing but Asia specific regions, North America, South America, and each region is further divided into the availability zones. Similar kind of a technology where we are trying to see for AWS, Amazon, and Microsoft Azure. These zones are particular regions are isolated from each other and are identified by a unique name. So as we know that data center 1, availability zone 1, availability zone 2, availability zone 3, right? Asia East 1A, Asia East 1B, Asia East 1C. You can see currently it has 36 regions, 109 zones, and 176 edge locations, and it is available in 200 plus countries and the territories. So it is coming with more future regions. You can try to see. These are grade marks, right? These are future regions which are going to be deployed soon. Okay. So it is same kind of an architecture like Azure and Microsoft Azure and AWS Amazon. Even these have subset services. You can see coming soon. Google Cloud will continue expanding this infrastructure following regions: Qatar, Germany, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, Thailand, and New Zealand, Norway, South Africa, Australia, and Sweden. Okay, these are the future zones they are trying to come up very soon. So as I told you, App Engine, it's kind of a Google App managed, scalable, and robust at PaaS. What is a PaaS? PaaS is nothing but a platform as a service. What is platform as a service? Where Google Cloud is trying to provide a platform for developers and the UI designers and the administrators to develop and write codes rather than spending much time on the infrastructure and trying to develop any infrastructure. They'll simply try to write a code with an application that is given by the Google Cloud Platform. You can see it is easily managed. It can be easily scalable based on the requirement and the resources. It is reliable and it is most cost effective because it is trying to use as a pay-as-you-go service. Okay, so that's what these are the features which has been given by Google App Engine. What are the different features that is available within this cloud platform? Data storage, retrieval, and the search. It is used for the communication purpose, process management, and the computation. Computation means like resource management, CPU, RAM, storage, and everything. App configuration and the management. Okay. So this is nothing but a Google Cloud Platform billing status, usage history, transaction status, profile settings, everything will be visible in the dashboard. That's what it is trying to show us. Okay. How much time your instances, what is the charges for your instances, what are the jobs has been created. So Google Cloud Platform Engine, machine types determine the physical specifications of your machine, such as the amount of memory, virtual cores, and persistent disk limits an instance will have. All machine types are currently managed by the Google Cloud Compute Engine. Okay. So this is nothing but a virtual machine launching, right? Compute services. Machine types are individual in different classes, including we'll have a standard machine type servers, high CPU servers, high memory based servers, small machine type servers. So it is like a T2 micro instances, T3 micro instances, M3 micro instances in AWS, right? In Azure also we have seen standard CPU based, high memory based, same like this. The Azure we are trying to see D series, B series, V series, right? In the same way, Google Cloud Platform also have the same kind of a machine types information. Okay. And you can see Cloud Platform family where it is trying to provide services related to cloud data store, cloud SQL database, app engine services, compute services, storage level services, query, BigQuery, like a big data. These kind of famous services that has been offered. Let us try to see. Cloud SQL. As I told you about the database in the AWS class, store and manage data using fully managed relational MySQL database. Google handles replication, patch management, and database management to ensure availability and performance. So you shouldn't be worried about spending money on configurations of a database third party on outside, right? Rather than you can simply invest time on that in the Google Cloud Platform as well, because Google Cloud itself is providing you as a software as a service. SQL is provided as a software so that you can easily try to import the database over here. So it is kind of a familiar infrastructure. It is of a flexible charging pay-as-you-go service. It is secure, it is available, it is durable. It is easier to migrations and it is fully controlled and fully managed. This is kind of a features that is with the cloud SQL based provided by the Google Cloud Platform. And the cloud storage level service also provided by the Google Cloud Platform. It is using a durable and high availability object storage service with global edge catching. Catching means it's a network. It's like nearby availability zones. This edge catching will be configured. Your users have to fast access to your apps data from any locations. That's kind of a benefit the storage is provided. Secure and safe, competitive and flexible prices, and object-based storage. I told you about the concept of object-based storage in AWS, right? Same similar like that with a fully featured API, application program interface. It is having flexible access with your authentication. Get started now. Okay. It is very simple to access and store your data and modify the data. And the cloud data store. Data store is nothing but a NoSQL. Schemaless database. What is schemaless database? I've given you an example of a DynamoDB in AWS, right? Same like that. So non-unstructured data can be loaded without any time-taking process. For storing non-relational data, cloud data store automatically scales as you need it and supports transaction as well, SQL-like queries. It is schemaless access with the SQL-like querying. You remember I told you about what is schema, what are the restrictions different between relational database system and non-relational database system. That is kind of a service here. Managed database, auto scale with your users, and transaction level based queries will be performed. Built-in redundancy. It can be easily migrated to available zones and regions, local development tools, and access your data from anywhere from the world over the internet. Okay, this is kind of a features for the cloud database within the data store in GCP. These are kind of a specifications. And when are coming to networking settings, like we have seen the understanding of the network concepts of VPC in the Amazon cloud, and in the Azure we have tried to see as a virtual networks in the Microsoft Azure. Now in the cloud network, we have also cloud networking, Google Network. Google Network technology helps provide fast and consistent performance for your apps and services. We have a load balancing techniques, HTTP, HTTPS protocols, TCP and UDP, and VPNs, direct peering. I told you about the concept of peering, right? In AWS, same concept here. Like two different networks connecting each other. That is nothing but a peering concept. Okay. And here we have a cloud DNS, that is nothing but a cloud domain name service. This is about networking concept. These are the things which will be included in the GCP. Okay. And we have a data flow alpha. This is nothing but a data processing pipelines, which will be used in the programming languages. Okay. That scale to solve your key business scales. Google Cloud Data Flows enables reliable execution for large scale data processing scenarios such as extractions, transformations, load analyticals, analytical data, real-time data, process organizations. It will be used in programming level of applications and projects. It is a unified programming model where GCP is offering us with a managed scaling, reliable and consistent processing, and built for the cloud. It is also available to monitor the performances, all the electrical data. And cloud pub or sub preview. It is nothing but a automatically connect your services with reliable many-to-many asynchronous messaging hosted on the Google infrastructure. It is kind of a message queuing service. Cloud pub or sub automatically scales as you need it and provide a foundation of building your own robust global services. How this can be useful? It is helpful in building a reliable and real-time messaging services, flexible to embrace a change and designed for Google scale, designed on the fastest data. So this is one kind of a service which is provided by the Google as well. Okay. So it is nothing but a streaming analytics services. Okay, that is used to integrate different tasks. It is kind of a publisher and subscribers concept. So it will be able to, you'll be able to understand when you are trying to do a projects in real-time analytical data or streamlining and analytical data to be synced, correct? So these kind of different services also provided by the AWS as well. Just want to show you what are the different types of services being offered by Google Cloud as well. Okay. And this is all about the Google Cloud, where it has been offered. As I told you, the naming conventions might be different. The technologies and the backend architecture, everything will be same, but it depends on what kind of a Google Cloud course and platform you would like to choose and what companies trying to choose is opt for that. For example, there are companies, they need Google Cloud knowledge. There are some companies, they need Microsoft Azure knowledge or certification. And some companies, they need knowledge on the Amazon AWS services with a certification. So depending on the necessity requirements, if you have a knowledge on multiple services as well, that's an added advantage. But we have tried to understand as part of this program, how these cloud vendors are actually different types of cloud vendors, how the basics and technicalities we have tried to go on through till these 10 days course structure. Okay. That's all about the understanding of cloud fundamentals program. Any doubts till now? So BigQuery is nothing but a data warehouse. Okay, it is a fully managed serverless data warehouse that enables analytics and the movement of analysis of a big data. Data means huge chunk amount data, right? Which we cannot try to analyze. So a large amount, which will be in terabytes, petabytes, that will be displayed in a SQL tables format or analytical format. In an analytical format, all the data will scalable analysis will be done with the help of BigQuery. That's a different topic actually. That kind of a service are available by GCP. Okay, it is kind of, it is trying to provide serverless, highly scalable, cost-effective data warehouse, where the BigQuery concept will be coming in. So people who are trying to learn about the course of big data and Python and other kind of things, right? These kind of a concept will come into picture. These are kind of a high-level architectures. I think we are done with the program till today. Any doubts, guys? If you have any doubts, you are okay to speak up today. We are done with the sessions. And for in-depth projects and assignments, you are good to opt for a course structure and reach out to the admin team. They'll be help you out with any batch informations or registering the course with an AWS Solution Architect course or anything you would like to have. Okay. So I have covered as much as possible because I had a less time for around 10 days for its 2 hours. So I just try to cover as much as technologies which I am able to, so that it will try to give you a basic rough idea how in real-time environment these should work. Okay. Any doubts?
Kuljit, you have any doubts?
Guys, if you have any doubts, you can speak up. We have been unmuted you. We have offline classes, batches have been scheduled with ExcelR. They will be provide you with placement assistance and interview assistance, certifications, help out, and different types of a course structure. You can try to reach out to the admin team. Okay. Any doubts? Anything about your careers related questions or batch related informations, anything I'll be able to help you out. Hope you got a knowledge on understanding of the cloud environment within this core structures.
Guys, don't worry about the attendance link. I will share the end of the class. As we want to inform something to you, please be there in the session. If you have doubts, you can unmute yourself, or else you can drop in chat box. If you have any feedback, then you can unmute yourself.
I think Vipul, you had a doubt on placement assistance. You are messaging me, but admin team will be able to help you. Amar can answer you on that placement assistance.
Vipul, I am sharing the email ID as well as my mobile number in chat box. You can drop me mail or else WhatsApp message. Guys, any query?
Priya Kumari, Ganesh, you can try. You are trying to message me about the course informations where admin team will be able to help you. You can try to. I think direct messages are coming to me. You can try to send out message for everyone, I believe, or you can send out email. I mean, message to Amar as well.
1 minute, I am changing the setting to direct.
Yeah, they are trying to send me messages directly to me.
Yeah, now it's to everyone.
Yeah, Priya and Ganesh, you can try to put your messages again in the Zoom chat if you have.
Kavya, I didn't get you. Guys, wait for attendance link. I will share after some time. We want to inform you something. Okay, so team, I will take up for 5 minutes. Bala, can I go ahead?
Yes, please. I am done. You are good.
Yes. So guys, we are happy to announce our next training program on fundamentals of full stack development, which is going to start from 3rd April 2023. Okay, the course duration is 30 hours, 15 days, weekdays, Monday to Friday, 2 hours per day. And we are going to cover HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap, and many more things in that. So I would request all of you to register for that program as well. I'm sharing the registration link in the chat box. Please register for that program as well as share the registration link with your friends. I would like to announce once more. We are going to start new program on fundamentals of full stack development. It's free of cost training program for 30 hours, which is going to start from 3rd April 2023. Time is same, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Okay, Shruti, no problem. If you have already registered, then no need to register once again. Attendance link, guys, wait for that. First of all, we will take up the queries and last we'll share the attendance link. Meanwhile, if you have any query or question, you can drop in the chat box. If you want more information about the AWS full-fledged course from ExcelR, I request all of you, please drop an email to edl@excelr.com. I'm sharing that email ID in chat box. So coming, is that course online, sir? Yes, course is online only. Coming to the certifications, guys. So those who attended 60 and more than 60% of the sessions, they will receive their certificate via registered email ID within next 7 to 8 working days. The full stack program is completely free, guys. There is no any registration fee for that. Yes, we are going to start from the basics, so you can register for that. You will get the information regarding to the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap, and many more things are there. No, there is no assessment for cloud fundamentals. You will get the recorded sessions as well as material and assignment in the LMS, so you can visit LMS. The recorded sessions is available for lifetime. Yes, guys, recorded session is available for lifetime. You can access anytime. There is no access to download. I'm sharing the registration link once again in the chat box. So please register for the full stack development course. Date of the program. Okay. The new program is going to start from 3rd of the April. No, there is no any examination for cloud fundamentals. You will get the assignment over LMS within 2 days. Okay. Don't worry. YouTube peoples, you have any query? No, you need to attend the live session and you need to mark the attendance. If you are going to see the recorded sessions, you are not eligible for the certificate. Rupa, would you like to say something? Guys, if you want to talk, you can unmute yourself. If you have any feedback, you can unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yes, who is there? Yes, people.
When this full stack course will reflect in the LMS, right after registering or when?
No. By tomorrow, it will start showing. Okay. Once you're done with the registration, now then go in the store. By tomorrow, end of the day in store, the classroom is there. So you can just need to enroll and proceed. Then you will revert at the classroom. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sharing the attendance link as well. Guys, if you want to talk, you can unmute yourself. The forum is open for you. You will get the Zoom link via LMS for that program as well. Or else you can contact your TPO. They will also help you.
Sir, can high school students join this program?
Yes. If they want to start their career in the full stack, be like HTML, CSS, or any Java things, then they can. They will get the basic things.
What are the front-end technology will be there in full stack course?
HTML, CSS, and JavaScript.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any session for Angular 11 or Angular JS?
Yeah, we are planning that, but maybe end of the April.
Okay. Sure.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Sir, actually, I have forgotten to submit my 2 days attendance in previous class. I'm eligible for certificate. So guys, 60% attendance is mandatory for certificate. Actually, can you explain more about the assignment, Aditya? What you want to know about the assignment? We'll receive the, we'll upload the assignment in the LMS. You're welcome, Amir. There is one feedback from Prince Kumar Singh. Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful sessions. Yeah, that's thank you goes to the Bala, sir. Realme 6, who is there? You can unmute yourself. Don't raise your hand. Anything about Cloud 50 days course? Vipul, yes, we'll share all the information with you. just drop me a WhatsApp message or you'll drop an email. I'm sharing with you. Tanaya, sir, so if I have missed my day one, will still get the certificate, right? Yeah, day one, if you are missing, then no problem. 60% is mandatory. Gnaneshwar from the YouTube. Gnaneshwar, we already shared the attendance link. Please scroll up. You're welcome, Tanya. Attendance link, please. Okay, I'm sharing the attendance link once again in the chat box. Please mark your attendance and give your valuable feedback as well. Any query, question? There is a one question, Yash, how to get a certificate? Yash, if you attended more than 60% of the sessions, then don't worry, you will receive the certificate via registered email ID within the next 7 to 8 working days. And after 6-7 days, if you feel that I attended all the session but I not received the certificate, then guys, feel free to reach us on edl@excelr.com. Our team will check your attendance and update you, like what was the status of your certificate. No is there, sir? If there is any assignment also, we have to submit. Assignment is just for your practice purpose. No need to submit the assignment. Full stack classes is for 15 days. Who is there?
I'm Priya Kumari, sir.
Yes, Priya.
I want to learn Python and C++, sir.
Python and C++.
Yes, sir.
Okay, drop an email. We'll collect over the call.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Because my full stack development is completed, I get certificate also.
Okay, great then. You attended the last program of EDL?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's great. Rutuja is there. Your all sessions are awesome. Thank you so much, Rutuja. Bala sir,
Yeah,
would you like to talk?
yes, I just want to wrap up for today's
Okay.
session for the 10 days program. And I hope every one of you had a wonderful time with the sessions we had for this 10 days program, and with this interactive sessions and practical understanding of different cloud technologies. I hope you got somehow the knowledge on going through this career on cloud career, choosing further. So whoever is trying to do any developing courses as well, this cloud technology will definitely trying to boost up, because the cloud is the one that's been the main platform for anyone who's trying to choose any courses, like at least platform related Java, Python, and Angular JS. What are the things you are trying to mention? The cloud will be a base domain that will be helping with different kinds of services. So I hope you just got that understanding, and I hope you people had a very bright future. Thanks everyone for your time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Guys, if you don't have any query or question, you can drop out. Amir is there. How we can see our attendance percent? Will you provide, sir? Drop an email. We'll check that and we'll update you. Shruti is there. Thank you so much, sir. That's great experience to learn with you. Practice sessions, easy to understand, and such a wonderful. Thank you so much, Shruti. Thank you all of you for such a wonderful sessions. Yes, Naveen? Yes, Naveen. Naveen Kumar. You're welcome, Ganesh. And thank you so much, all of you. We'll see you in the full stack classes.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome, Vipul.
So, is there any way we can get the materials of previous courses? Like currently,
You can visit LMS. All the materials are there.
no, sir.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm talking about the course which like Python and SQL one.
Yeah,
So
Python SQL. Python SQL is there. Recorded session is there, and materials as well there. Just drop an email which course access you want. We'll provide that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, then we'll wind up the session. Once again, thank you so much, Mr. Bala, for taking such a wonderful sessions.
Thank you, Amar.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time and support.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome. So we'll wind up the session now.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.